All right, y'all. Oh man, welcome to the second episode of Food is Medicine. This is Kundalini Crazy. I was supposed to do a double upload. My apologies. I got busy. It's just it's really hard. Um, having a time time in this truck, man. It's time consuming. I'm still behind on some things that I gotta knock out. I got my fruit. I just haven't juiced them yet. Which instead of me just sitting around waiting day by day to find the time to do it, I'm gonna just eat them so that way I can still have it in my system. I got my herbs, still haven't prepped my teas yet. You know what I'm saying? It's just I'm a little backed up, over here, and now I still gotta do this video. So, but once I upload this video, I would pretty much be caught up because by the time this upload, I got some time today, so I will be able to juice everything and make my teas today. So by the time this upload, I will already be finished with everything and I'm finally caught up. Now, also, when I do this, I have other sections of my Kundalini Crazy channel that I'm going to be introducing as well. Like, a section like Food for Thought where I'm basically going to be venting, because there's different types of healing. When you're trying to be a holistic healer, you have environmental healing, which I'm definitely trying to change because my environment is not really helping me. This isn't a backpack. This is like some straps to wear for like my posture to help my, chest, stand out. Because if I was to loosen this up, or if I'm, just sitting and just working without it, over time, as a habit, my body will like start to come in, my chest will come in, my shoulders will come in, and I overstretch my back, and that will cause back problems. So instead of me stretching my back, I need to be stretching this area, which means I should be doing like more push-ups so I can build some muscle here, so it'll open up. So this strap right here helping me with my posture. I definitely feel the difference. I didn't wear it the last 2 days, and my back was hurting. You know what I'm saying? So this actually helps me with my support. So I like this. This was like $14, I think, at Walmart. Um, so it works for me. Um, outside of that, man, I mean, I could keep going, but let's get this um, double upload out the way. So this episode is where I'm currently at now with my health, as far as like my knowledge and everything. Um, there was some time in between that I took time off of studying this because I had to knock other things out. But now that I already knocked it out, I got back on here to finish up these PowerPoints. So this second episode is where I'm at now. There's information I purposely left out of my first episode because I didn't know that information at the time I made the first episode. So I saved a lot of that information for this episode. You know what I'm saying? So this is going to be everything that I know so far as what I'm doing for myself. As far as my exercises and all that, I'm going to still go live on maybe my Facebook or my Instagram, where I'm going to be going live while I'm working out, breaking down my exercise routines, what I'm going to be doing, ending it with, breath work and hopefully grounding if I'm able to, because I have to get some exercise outside in the sunlight. But we'll talk about that when that time comes. But, mental healing, spiritual healing, physical healing, exercise, and dietary healing. All these different things is going to be under different categories underneath this channel. So I will go way more in depth whenever that comes. This is for Food is Medicine, so we're going to be talking about the food and the drinks that I'm going to be, taking in. So I wonder if that's everything else that I can say for right now. Right now, I'm going to just leave it there. So without any further ado, man, let's just go ahead and knock this out. So once again, my disclaimer. Let me say this too. So if you haven't seen my first episode, I was going over my X-ray, where I put up my actual X-ray for the world to see what's going on with me. Because like I said, in order for me to heal others, I have to heal myself. And the best way for me to do that, I feel like, is to document publicly what's going on with me. So if the world see me fix my condition, address my problem, say what the future holds because of that issue, and then address what caused that to even be an issue and what I can do to reverse that issue, and then put in the work to do that, and then see the results. That would, that would be, I would be very grateful to do that, because that would let me know that my research is correct, that I have been researching the correct way, I know what I'm talking about, and now I have the world as my witness, which could hopefully, make me somewhere certified in some degree where I can start helping others. So that's what this is. And once I did my x-ray, everything else from this point on is going to be about my blood work. So doing, your blood test is like some things you have to eat before you go take the test, and some things you have to fast before you go take the test. So you're not going to be able to do all of it at once. It's going to have to get broken up, because I did the one where you have to fast. All the tests that I seen that was available for me where I had to fast in order to take the test, I did all that. It was like $196. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to show you the results of all of that. The ones you have to eat, I'm not paying for all that at the same time. It's way too, it costs too much. It's way more than what this is. So I'm going to have to break those up. But I will say that once I fix the issues on my fasting part, then I'm going to go to the one where I'm not fasting. And if I was to get tested for the ones where you have to eat before you go, I'm pretty sure there will be some issues that may not be there by the time I finish this part. That is a chance of happening. But me being on the road is, I can't guarantee that I'm going to be able to constantly, get all that done. But now that I'm speaking this out loud, I will put in the effort to do so, even if it's just a little bit at a time. Because these companies exist all over these different cities and hospitals. So if I'm able to, see a location where I'm able to get something done and I'm gonna be in town, I will, put in the effort to try to get some of that done, because that would make the before and after even better, I believe. So that's what I want to say. So now we're finna go over my blood work. So now let's get started. So the information in this video to the audience is not a substitute for professional medical advice. Please consult with a doctor or any other certified medical professionals for health advice. I am not a professional. This is for information and entertainment purposes only, and will not be responsible for anyone who uses this information as official medical advice. All right? Like I said, as I'm talking, I may jump back into the disclaimer just because of how I talk. I'm talking about me only. I'm documenting my own self. I am in no position to tell y'all what it is. Even though I may be talking to y'all like I'm telling y'all, that's just how I talk. But I'm talking about me, which is why I'm going to, if I can remember during that time period, go back and pull up this disclaimer just to remind you guys. So, all right, so let me take my camera off to show you I'm not hiding anything here. You see that? So I'm just, all right. So, what you're looking at now is everything that's on the bottom of one screenshot is at the top of the next one. I'm doing that because I was scrolling through and I wanted to make sure that I took a picture of everything, so you can see what's going on. Now, just because things are in the green doesn't mean that they're good, because if I was to click on it and open up the details, like, it's a bar where it may start off green and then it may start off, go red. Or it may even be the green in the middle and have some red at the beginning and some red at the end, meaning that, if it's in the green, but it may be on the beginning side of it, that means I'm about to be in the red because it's going into the deficiency area. Or it may be in the green towards the end where I'm about to be in the red because it's hyper, meaning that it's too much of, it's piling up and I need to do something about it. So these things are possible, but I'm not going to go over that because they're still in the green. But as I'm fixing the reds, I'm pretty sure I will be adjusting whatever was about to be deficient or too much of anyway. You know what I'm saying? So we're just going to go over the reds right now. I have two things in the red here. One of them at the top is homocysteine, and then the second one is vitamin D. So this episode is about homocysteine. I'm not going to be able to go over both in the same video. I'm going to actually separate those. So my next video is going to be about the vitamin D. There's a lot of research that takes place in this. It takes time. So I'd rather break them up into two categories. So I want to go ahead and close in a little bit more on this homocysteine here. So let me take my camera off. So as you can see, it took place February 19th, 2024, this year, right? So that was recent. I need to go ahead and do it again just to have a more up-to-date test, because now that I've uploaded my video, I don't know what's making me say this. I'm going to go ahead and say it. So even though this was in February 19th, it took some time to study it, just because it shows that it's a vitamin B12 and B9 deficiency. I could have just jumped straight into foods that had vitamin B12 and B9 and just be done with it. But I really wanted to learn about what it is about the vitamin B12 and B9 that's causing this issue. So, and then just being a super organized person, what I'm about to say was not a good idea. This is just what I did because I really wanted everything to be fresh for this channel. I have switched up my diet, but on certain occasions, being out with the family, birthdays, special events and all that, I would eat with others, because I know I'm going to detox right after that. So I was kind of being inconsistent on purpose, because I didn't know when I was going to actually start this. And I didn't want to pull this up like today, right, April 10th, and who's to say I could have fixed this, issue, March 10th, whatever the case may be. Not saying that that could have happened. I don't know how long this is going to take, but I didn't want to upload this stuff and I had already took care of it. I kind of really want to go live through the transitions, because once I upload this and I start prepping my herbs and everything and buying everything and sticking to this diet, I'm going to start giving day 1 updates, day 3, day 7. Then after day 7 is really going to be week 2, week 3, week 4, day 30, which every 30 days I'm going to do another update on my blood, on test results, on my blood work, to show up before and after to see if there's any progress. So I wanted to do it while, it's in the moment versus getting it done, because I didn't re-record it the first video like 4 times already, but I just left it alone for so long because I've been trying to get this done, and just the laptop was just acting up. I just didn't know when I was going to be able to get to this. So now I had to buy me a new laptop, and I got everything going. Now everything's in the moment. Now once I uploaded my first video, I'm officially sticking to everything that I said now. So I know that wasn't a good idea, jumping into unhealthy foods knowing what's happening, but I made sure that it was a rare thing. I stuck to this for the most part, but I just wanted to really wait until I got this started to really stay consistent, so I can really see the results and, going through that process. So it is what it is, so homocysteine, you can pause the video and read if you want to. I'm gonna just go ahead and summarize it. So homocysteine is a amino acid in your body. Your body makes this homocysteine so it can convert it into other entities that your body needs. You know what I'm saying? And you can see that they have a range here in the green, and then it goes into the red, right? So it stops at 11.4. But me looking at other, medical areas, other doctors talking about this, I hear most of them ranging in between 5 to 15. So regardless if it's ranged from 5 to 15, or going by this, as you can see, I'm still at a 16.3. So I'm still outside the charts anyway. I'm still off the charts, where if I was to go to a hospital and have my doctor, do some blood work on me, I would literally come back and be diagnosed with hyperhomosysteinemia. That's a real condition that I can currently say that I have found out that I've diagnosed myself with. Now, hyperhomosysteinemia, it does a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? It's very, it contributes a whole lot into heart disease because it's very toxic in the blood. So as it's passing through the arteries, or through the, arteries in the veins, just the vascular system, right? It's damaging everywhere that it touches. So while it's touching, passing through my vessels, it's going to damage my blood vessels, which can cause plaque buildup. Plaque buildup is going to make a more narrow pathway for my blood to travel through, which is going to cause high blood pressure, because the pressure of the blood is going to have to increase in order to force the blood to go through that area. It's going to be very damaging and, causing a lot of problems in my heart. It can cause heart failure, heart disease. It can cause cerebral vascular disease, which is what I typed in right here, because the blood going to the brain is very important, and it could clog up that area as well. Thromboembolic disease is basically where you have plaque buildup in your veins. So I explained this, I think I explained this in my first video, so I'm going to say it again. So you have arteries and you have veins. In between the arteries and veins, in the middle, is a web of microscopic blood vessels called capillaries. The capillaries is where the cells, because all your cells need blood to send oxygen and nutrients to, so there's capillaries, microscopic capillaries everywhere. So the arteries is the red blood vessels. That's the one that has all the oxygen that just left the heart, because the lungs gave it oxygen to go through the heart to get distributed to every part of your body. And as the blood vessels, or the arteries, get closer to the location that it needs to drop off oxygen to, the blood vessels get very, very small, to the point it turns into capillaries, which is microscopic, and it's a bunch of cells in that web, where as it's passing through, it's dropping off oxygen and nutrients, and then while it's dropping it off, the blood turns from red to blue, which now the second half of the capillaries start to turn blue, which is the veins, and then that goes back to the heart, where the closer it goes to the heart, the bigger that the veins get. So thromboembolic is whenever you have plaque buildup in your veins. So that's after the blood gets distributed, passing off all the oxygen and nutrients through the capillaries. And, it's taking place in the lower parts of your body, from the hip down. And that's a problem, because blood has to go back up your leg, which is going against gravity, and now you have plaque buildup in that same location. So that's just going to make it even worse. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to break that down. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't just also cause that, man. You see, it's a neurotoxin, so it's very toxic towards the nervous system. It can cause cell degeneration. It could tear your nerve cells down. It could tear it down. And whenever you start to lose nerve cells, your nervous system starts to malfunction, which is why I mentioned here that it's going to cause a buildup of amyloid protein and hyperphosphorylation of tau protein that results in Alzheimer's and dementia. Homocysteine definitely causes Alzheimer's and dementia. It affects your memory. It ain't no question about it. High levels of homocysteine, you're going to have a nervous system issue. You're going to start deteriorating your neurons, which is responsible for passing neurotransmitters, which we're going to go into, because that's how memory gets passed down and memory gets saved, and memory can get lost. And homocysteine plays a huge part in that. So high levels of homocysteine, I'm definitely having memory issues. And I've been feeling it lately, that I've been losing track of things, but now I know why. So, it's not too late to fix it, but this is a serious issue. So just going off of this in my first episode, let me say this. So going off of this in my first episode dealing with my x-ray, let me just line it all up. So my x-ray, look like it's causing pinched nerve, which is going to excite my sympathetic nervous system, which is going to cause a lot of stress, because it's constantly, overworking my adrenal glands, which can cause adrenal fatigue, which can lead to kidney failure. And that high stress can damage my kidneys. It can shut down my liver. It can damage my nervous system, deteriorate my muscles, and along with having a bad posture, having to readjust my skeletal frame, that's also going to cause me to be handicapped in the future if I don't fix it. Plus, this high stress, I highlighted how that also tears down the bones, where it causes osteoporosis, which can make your bones brittle. So now I'm looking at bad posture causing me to be, handicapped, while making my bones weak because it's constantly stripping calcium, making my bones brittle, which can make it more fragile, easier to break, while causing high stress, constant fight or flight anxiety, right? Shutting down my kidneys, and affecting my liver. And then we got homocysteine over here that can cause high blood pressure, heart failure, kidney failure, liver failure, because this mainly takes place in the liver. I'm going to talk about that too, on top of having memory issues leading to Alzheimer's and dementia. We hit the second episode and I'm looking at all this. I thought I was fine. I didn't know I was dealing with all this. So getting blood work is very important. Just basically, long story short. So that's what this is. Now, what's causing this to be in the red, you will see, is that, it talks about a deficiency in vitamin B12 and folate, which is, folate is also vitamin B9. So vitamin B9 and vitamin B12 deficiencies are on the microscope here as 99 times out of 100. That's pretty much what we're looking at here, no doubt about it. So let's see. So going over homocysteine here, right? So this is a little simple model that I had drew up just to give you guys an image. We're going to break it down. And you see where homocysteine is, right? So it comes from methionine, right? So this is a dietary amino acid that your body takes in from what you eat, and when your body takes in, your body starts to break down these foods, these amino acids left over, which is methionine as one of them. It gets translated into, it gets turned into other entities that your body may need. And I have some things in red here, like I have one thing in blue that we're really going to be talking about. I color code certain things that I'm going to be highlighting because they're very important in what I'm going to be talking about. So starting from homocysteine, you see vitamin B6 is used. Vitamin B6 is used in a lot of different reactions in the body. It's too many to name right now. I'm not about to sit there and act like I know it all, because I don't. Say I'm still learning, I'm still new to this. There's still so much that I don't know, but I do know that vitamin B6 works with enzymes to help turn homocysteine into cystathione, and then again with vitamin B6 turn that into cysteine, and then cysteine gets converted into glutathione. I think I mentioned glutathione in my first video. If not, I'm going to say it again. So glutathione is an antioxidant your body naturally makes inside of your cells to protect the cell against free radicals. So free radicals get made by the mitochondria whenever there's a malfunction here. Whenever the mitochondria is in stress, it's going to malfunction, and it's going to cause a byproduct of free radicals, which is unpaired electrons. The unpaired electrons, if they connect to the wrong thing, it's going to cause a lot of cellular damage. It's very potent. So antioxidants help donate these electrons, and some antioxidants donate protons, but glutathione would donate these electrons to this free radical to neutralize it so it doesn't cause any more cellular damage. So your body is going to constantly, this is why metabolism is important, because when your body is absorbing these nutrients that you're putting into your body, your cells use these nutrients and vitamins and minerals to build a new body, to repair itself, to regenerate. And you're going to have to keep on making new glutathione antioxidants to protect the cell because of the chemical reactions that take place inside the cell. So glutathione is very important, and you see homocysteine gets converted into that. But there's a homocysteine buildup. Now, vitamin B6 is one way of breaking down homocysteine, but it talks about vitamin B12 and B9, which is what you see I have in orange here, going back to methionine. So this 5-methyl tetrahydrofolate, that's an enzyme, right? So this enzyme needs folate in order to exist. So that's vitamin B9. And then it works with vitamin B12 to turn homocysteine back into methionine. Now, why is this even an important pathway? I have sulfur, I keep on getting tongue twisted on this word, but it's abbreviated for SAM, right? So this SAM entity, I get tongue tied with those words, even whenever I try to say like something like slap boxing, or I have to say it slow, slap boxing. I say slap boxing like naturally. I cannot say that word right. So it's a few words that it just doesn't come off right. So the abbreviation is SAM. So the reason why SAM is important is because SAM has a methyl group. Methyl groups is very important in your DNA. Your DNA uses methyl groups to activate and deactivate genes. Some genes need to stay on and some genes need to stay off, because that's going to determine certain pathways that take place. So if you have a gene that's activated because of a methyl group being added, then that could cause a problem, or it needs to be activated so it could fix a problem. Same thing for methyl groups getting removed. Some things need to be turned off because it's causing a problem. Because if it's on, then it's going to cause more damage. So this is just how DNA works. It's way more complicated than what I'm explaining it. That's just me trying to simplify for y'all. But I'm saying that to say SAM is a very major component in what we're about to talk about. Now, homocysteine, this takes place because all of your cells need glutathione. This pretty much takes place in every cell of your body, but most of this takes place in the liver, which deals with your digestive system, because that's just it starts off. This just shows you that it starts off with what you eat to begin with. You know what I'm saying? So especially with the liquids going straight to the going through the capillaries, as soon as you drink liquids, it gets absorbed into the bloodstream, and the first stop is the liver. I just want to put that out there. But methionine and this pathway mainly takes place in the liver. So we have a lot of homocysteine buildup in the liver. So this is very toxic in the liver, causing liver cirrhosis, which is what I typed in at the bottom, leading to liver failure. So what that means is this. So when you have these toxic entities damaging your cells, you have white blood cells that's used to protect the body. That's how you detox, right? You can't detox without your white blood cells. So you have your white blood cells that will release these proteins called cytokines. These cytokines, it's like smoke signals to get the attention of white blood cells, saying, hey, there's a problem over here, we need to fix it. So what the white blood cells do is they basically just get rid of the damaged cell. But vitamin C is being used to make collagen or connective tissue. If your body continues to make this connective tissue or this collagen after it replaces the damaged cell, then you're going to have a lot of scars, which is scar tissue. Scar tissue is not cells. Cells are not there working. You just put some connective tissue there just to hold it in place. But if you keep on creating more scars than actually replacing that with actual cells so that organ can work, then that organ is going to become less productive because it doesn't have the cells to do the job that it's designed to do. And if the organ is not going to be able to work properly, then that's going to lead into organ failure. So homocysteine can lead to that because it can cause a lot of scar tissue in the liver because it's damaging all the cells in the area that homocysteine is being created in. So and you need your liver to filter out toxins from the blood to help purify the blood. And the liver does a lot more other things too, but it helps with your digestive system and all that. But the liver, for this to mainly take place in the liver, it's definitely going to shut down the liver. So I definitely know just off this alone, I have to do things to help me detox my liver alone. So vitamin B12 and vitamin B9 is very needed because it's going to help break down that homocysteine buildup. So while it's piling up, even though vitamin B6 is, I do have vitamin B6, working, but I definitely need vitamin B12 and B9 to make this enzyme and to use vitamin B12 to break down homocysteine even more, to convert it back to methionine, so that way I can keep making more SAM. Because if I don't make enough SAM, then I'm not going to be able to start activating or deactivating, turning off things that need to be turned off, because while it's free running alone, I need to activate it so I can stop it, because some things run automatically and it's tearing things up, and you need to activate it to stop it or inhibit it, you know. So that's very important, and we're going to go over all that. So the more SAM that I have, the better that my body can behave, because once SAM gets converted into SA, which you see the difference between SAM and SA is methionine and homocysteine. So the sulfur, so this, I want to say this too. So the more SAW that you have, SAW is an inhibitor of SAM. So once SAM gets converted into SAW, then there is no going back. You can't reverse SAW into SAM, but you can turn SAM into SAW. So once SAM gets turned into SAW, that's it. You need vitamin B12 to try to start all over again to keep making SAM. So that's what's happening. I'm SAM deficient. It says homocysteine is a problem, but that's not the problem. The problem is what's causing it, and what's causing it is lack of SAM, and there's lack of SAM because I lack vitamin B12 and folate. So let's go ahead and keep going. So let me move myself here. So dealing with the memory loss here, right? So this is, I had drew this up too, you know what I'm saying? So of course you have a nerve cell, I have at the top right, which could be a neuron, a astrocyte, right? So as a, you know, well actually, you know what, let me do it like this. So with your nerve cells, because I'm going to talk about it. So as you can see here, this neurotransmitter that leaves the nerve cell, right, it gets released from the nerve cell, and these nerve cells send signals called neurotransmitters, and you got different types of neurotransmitters that does different things. So one of them that deals with the memory is this neurotransmitter that I have typed in right here. Okay, so this is very important. So this specific neurotransmitter deals with memory. All right, so how that happens is like this. So you have, well, let me make it full. So let's say I'm a cell, I'm a neuron, and my arms is the extension of the cell. So this arm is a, you know, will lead to a dendrite. Let's say a dendrite. And let's say, because this is a dendrite, dendrites receive information from other cells, from other neurons, and, you know what I'm saying, astrocytes. So these dendrites, let's say I have 5 arms on this side, and so they're all dendrites, and they extend like this, and as it extends, it starts to split up, where these are each receiving signals from another, you know what I'm saying, neuron. So this is what's receiving. And as it's receiving the energy, it goes into the neuron, chemical reactions get made, starts to download information, starts to filter out, seeing what's important, and then this neuron has to send information to the next neuron. So it's going to go out. Now this is, it shows one arm, but it's real long. It's like Michael Jordan off Space Jam arm. It's real long. This is by itself called the axon, and it sends signals out of these little fingertips too. This axon sends out information, and the dendrites on the other side of the neuron receives information. So that's how that communication pathway happens. And the glutamate neurotransmitter here specifically deals with, you know, memory. So as this neurotransmitter gets released, this is what, you know, actually supposed to happen. So what I drew up here, these light blue, you know, double end circles, this is the cellular membrane. This is the outer layer of the cell. The membrane protects the cell from the outside environment, like it also protects the outside environment from the cell, because things don't, the inside of the cell don't need to be mixing in with the blood, because, you know, that can kill you, and, you know, vice versa. So this helps keep things in and out the cell. And what we're looking at with this white arrow going down, from, you know, that's calcium going down in the middle. So there's 2 little orange, you know, entities that I got together that's looking like it's, in between the membrane, that's a receptor, okay, which is a protein receptor. This receptor alone is called, nitrogen methyl deuterium aspartate, which is short for NMDA. So this NMDA receptor also deals with memory as well. So the glutamate neurotransmitter, as it gets released, it has to bond with this receptor. And the yellow I have for the binding site, that's showing you where the glutamate neurotransmitter is supposed to be bonded to. And once it bonds to this receptor, it sends a signal inside the cell storing the information that comes from the neurotransmitter that came from the exon of another cell. Now, homocysteine can play on the same receptor as this glutamate, and that's very important because homocysteine is very toxic, and whenever it bonds to this toxic receptor, what's going to happen is this green entity that I have in the middle of this receptor with the red sensor sign, that's magnesium. So magnesium is actually the blocker. It prevents calcium from coming into the cell, which is going to overexcite the cell, right? So when homocysteine bonds onto this receptor, it's, what it's actually going to do is that these things open up the receptor, which is not a bad thing because that's what glutamate is supposed to do, but it does it in a certain amount where a certain amount of calcium comes in so it can start helping release, because calcium plays a very important role in cell signaling. Calcium is used to release neurotransmitters. So your cells need calcium, but with homocysteine being a neurotoxin, it's going to damage the receptor, which when that happens and magnesium is gone, when magnesium gets removed, when homocysteine bonds to it, it keeps the doorway wide open so a whole bunch of calcium could just come in. And that's going to be very dangerous because when all that high calcium goes into the cell, it's going to start to damage the cell, especially the mitochondria, and it's going to cause ROS, which is what I talked about in my first episode. All that means is it's going to increase cellular damage, which is going to cause apoptosis, which is a systematic cell shutdown. It's like controlled cell suicide. It's going to get rid of the cell because it's a compromised entity in the body and it's going to do more harm than good. So homocysteine is going to destroy my nervous system cells, and it's going to be affecting my memory because this receptor is being bonded to homocysteine. Now, even though your stem cells replaces the neurons or any other cell in your body, homocysteine will play a part in, because it's very toxic in the blood, it can affect all of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy to say, well, yeah, it'll just, your body will just kill that one cell and then your stem cells will just replace it. It's not that simple. I mean, it does work like that, but homocysteine don't play that. So it's going to do more harm than good. My body is not going to be able to regenerate as fast as the damage that homocysteine is going to do, because not only does homocysteine does this is a definition of cellular damage, which is stress. And now I'm finna show you how homocysteine, because what homocysteine does, by this existing at a high rate, okay, by homocysteine building up at a high rate, another two things that it does that I typed at the beginning is that by this being at a high level, it causes amyloid protein buildup and it causes a hyperphosphorylation of tau protein. I'm going to break that down within these next two slides so you can know what that means. All right, so let's get into it. So this is amyloid right here. So this image that I drew up, it does have some influence of a similar article that I read, but I did kind of put my own little touches on it, but if you was to study this, you may see a similar model. I don't have the permission to use that, so I kind of put my own touches on it to remix it so I can show you exactly what's going on here. So let me break this down. So the green, red, yellow long strip in the middle of the screen, they got the white squiggly line on top. You see, that whole entity alone is called the amyloid precursor protein. That is on your neurons. That is in your nervous system, okay? which is why I have the membrane again, where it's showing that it's sticking out, because your body naturally makes this amyloid precursor protein. But depending on the pathway is going to determine what happens. And that's what I'm going to talk to you guys about. So, as your body constantly makes this amyloid precursor protein, your body is going to also constantly break it down as fast as it's building up. And that's going to go the non-amyloidogenic pathway. This is a normal thing that happens in the body, just like in my first episode. Degenerative disc disease is a normal thing that happens in everybody. All it is just wear and tear on your spinal cord, where over time your disc, being in a high friction environment, because you're moving your body all day, is going to make your spinal cord very hot in friction. So it's going to start to dissolve the disc, which makes your disc shrink, which over time your back is not able to move around as much, and it causes back pain. Same thing that happens with this amyloid precursor protein. As you get older, your amyloid protein is going to start to go the opposite direction. It's going to start going to the amyloidogenic pathway. This is why the older we get, we start to have bad memory. This is just a natural occurring thing as we get older. So, but there's ways where you can speed up the process, and that's what I have going on with me because of this high homocysteine, or what I call hyperhomosysteinemia, right? So let's go into that. So, as you can see, going straight down the middle, starting from the centerpiece, the difference between the non-amyloidogenic pathway and the amyloidogenic pathway is these two enzymes that I got the scissor emojis on, because that's what these enzymes do. They cut these proteins down, and depending on where they cut it is going to determine how it is going to get used in the body. So the A secretase, or what you call the alpha secretase enzyme, you see that that's going to cut it a different location than what the B secretase, or what you call the beta secretase enzyme. It's going to cut it two totally different pathways. So I'm going to go over the amyloidogenic pathway. So any type of, you see what I typed in right here, cellular stress, right? So let me just really just highlight cellular stress. So we're talking about inflammation, right? Because that's cell damage. So cell damage, that's really stress on the cells. So that's triggering stress. So the cell being damaged is going to cause inflammation, because the white blood cells are going to send a smoke signal to fix the problem. So that's cellular stress. Hypoxia is cellular stress, because hypoxia is when your cells don't have the proper amount of oxygen that it's supposed to have. So whenever your cells are getting damaged and they're not able to have the oxygen that they're supposed to have, they're now losing oxygen. That's cellular stress, because you're going to trigger something called hypoxia inducible factor, which is going to help the cell adapt to its environment due to the lack of oxygen. So you got hypoxia, right? Cellular stress. You got inflammation, cellular stress. Trauma, cellular stress. Even with the free radicals causing damage, acids, toxins, whatever that's going to be damaging the cell is going to be cellular stress. It can come from a lot of ways, even mental trauma, like just constantly hurting yourself. If it damages the body, which is made of cells, it's going to cause cellular stress. So as your body promotes cellular stress, this is actually a pathway that's going to get activated, and some of this gets activated faster and more efficient than others. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. That's why genetics is so important. Because 5 people can have the same diet and they may have 5 different health issues based on how their chromosomes and their genes and their defense is in their body. So this is one of the pathways right here. So that's what I want to talk about. So as your body is starting to experience, cellular stress, it's going to activate the beta secretase enzyme. And when that gets activated, it's going to cut the protein in a different location. But that cellular stress can also activate the next enzyme. It looks like a Y, but that's short for gamma. So now you have beta secretase enzyme getting triggered and activated through stress. And then that stress is also going to activate the gamma secretase enzyme to follow through. And when that happens, you see it's going to cut the precursor protein in a different location, which is going to cause amyloid beta. Amyloid beta, once that gets made, is going to exist outside the cell. So we're talking about extracellular space. So that's basically meaning the space in between the neurons. So these neurons is really close, so they sending, one signal to the next. So they have to have some space in between the two so they can send these neurotransmitters, to these receptors on these other neurons. So that space in between these cells is where the amyloid beta is going to build up at. And as your body is constantly making this amyloid precursor protein, then if your body is still experiencing stress, if that gene is still activated, it's going to continue to make amyloid beta, which is going to pile up and turn into amyloid plaque. The amyloid plaque buildup is going to interfere with the neurons communicating with each other. Okay? And that's very important, because the reason why, as a matter of fact, I wrote it in here in the notes. So as the SAM, why that's so important is because if you had SAM, then you would be able to prevent this, because the genes that get triggered by the gamma secretase is the SAM. So once beta gets started, it's really going to be hard to stop it. But because of the SAM being around, because its deficiency is going to be hypo. And I say hypo because that's underproducing, because I'm SAM deficient. So as I'm SAM deficient, I'm not going to be able to stop this process. And it's going to show you, I'm going to really highlight it. I'm really not trying to go into it much on here, because I really want to go into it with the tau protein. But just to show you right here, cellular stress is going to trigger the beta secretase enzyme process. But by me being SAM deficient, I'm not going to be able to prevent this from continuing to happen. I think that's the best way to explain that. I totally understand what's happening, but like I said, I'm trying to make sure that I word it correctly, which I'll get better at it. But going here, this is where I really want to get into. I've been spending so much time studying this one, I was really excited about getting here. So the hyperphosphorylation of this tau protein buildup. What you're looking at is this takes place in the neuron as well. This deals with the cytoskeleton, or what I call the skeleton of the cell. Your cells have skeletons too, right? And they're called microtubules, all right? And these things get held together by tau protein. So this microtubule process, so the microtubules in the cells, it deals with the structure of the cell. The microtubules is depending on where it's at, is going to determine how the cell is structured. The shape of the cell is because of the microtubule. It's the cytoskeleton. It's the skeleton of the cell. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the skeleton of the cell. So once again, high levels of homocysteine is really not causing this. It's really the SAM deficiency that's causing this. But having SAM deficiency is going to be because of the excessive buildup of homocysteine. But this is really a SAM issue. SAM is really causing it. SAM not being around is really what's causing this problem. Okay, because as the tau protein it plays like tape. It's like tape on these microtubules to keep the structure together. So like the axon, the really long part of the neuron, that long part, that is microtubules all throughout that to keep that long structure. Like how my skeleton to keep my arm long, that skeleton is the microtubule. So that plays a very big part in the structure of the axon, which is going to help send the signals, just like it's on the dendrite aspect too, helping the structure of the dendrites so it can receive information, even on the inside of the cell, to make sure that you know, like how our ribs keep the lungs together and the heart and all that. So you have the cytoskeleton inside the cell to make sure that the reactions inside the cell happen the way that it's supposed to happen, so it can transfer the way it needs to transfer it. So what the tau protein does, it plays like a tape to keep the skeleton together, like the muscles hold your skeleton in place. It works the exact same way. All right. So where SAM is in this aspect is because the methyl groups, all right, is going to deal with adding a methyl group to activate something. And you have an enzyme here that I typed in called protein phosphatase, 2A's, right? Or I'm sorry, protein phosphatase 2A. It's a certain type of enzyme that gets activated, and it gets activated by SAM. So what happens is the tau protein constantly gets these phosphates added onto the tau protein. So what the SAM does by having a methyl group onto your genes, onto your DNA, is going to activate a specific enzyme that's going to remove the phosphate from the tau protein. But if you're SAM deficient, then what's going to happen is you're not going to be able to activate these enzymes enough to where it's going to be able to keep taking the extra phosphates off the cell, because you have a like the enzyme that's constantly adding a phosphate on there. It needs to be activated so it can stop. But your genes have an enzyme that needs to be activated so it can keep removing it. So by me being SAM deficient, I'm not going to be able to remove these phosphates that keep getting added onto the tau protein, which is going to cause the tau protein to build up. And whenever the tau protein gets piled excessively with this phosphate, that's which is too much of, hyperphosphorylation. So once the tau protein becomes hyperphosphorylated, it's going to make the tau protein remove itself from the microtubules, which is no longer going to be the tape to keep the skeleton of the cell together, and it's going to start breaking up. And as it's starting to break up, that's going to also interrupt the way that the cell interacts with the outside environment, how it's going to send signals out, how it's going to receive signals, how it's going to go through something called mitosis, which is when the cell replicates from 1 into 2. It's going to disrupt all that. And as the neurons that's responsible for having this NMDA receptor that deals with memory, as the glutamate is sending the signal to the neuron, and it bonds to this receptor, if the cytoskeleton of that cell is compromised and is broken up, then the signal is going to get lost in translation, and it's not going to be able to save that memory, because homocysteine over here is not only damaging the protein that deals with memory, but it's also causing the skeleton to separate. So if anything was to go through, it may get lost. So this is how the homocysteine damages the body. So anytime you look at Alzheimer's and dementia, you're always going to see amyloid beta and you're going to see tau hyperphosphorylation. You're not going to see it without it. Alzheimer's do not exist without this amyloid beta and this tau protein. And that's because of SAM deficiency, because of the lack of vitamin B12, which is going to cause a buildup of the homocysteine, which the buildup of homocysteine is going to bond to the same glutamate binding site, taking the role of glutamate that's supposed to be sending memory. Instead, homocysteine is playing like it's about to send you signals, when really it's about to destroy your memory. You see how that go? So, coming back here, you know what's crazy? This is a cycle, because by the tau protein being disrupted, that's going to mess up the way that the cell communicates, not even just with the neurotransmitter, just with everything. The way that the cell metabolizes, right? Oxygen, all that stuff, like it's going to start damaging the cell, period. That's going to stress the cell out. So because that's going to stress the cell, and that cell becomes compromised, that's going to activate cellular stress, which is going to continue to activate the beta secretase enzyme, which that stress is going to also activate the gamma to keep the amyloid beta protein just constantly keep happening over and over again. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a cycle. It's a cycle, but it can get prevented. Cellular stress activates beta plaque, but plaque buildup causes cellular stress. So, but this is all because of Sam. It's all because of Sam. You know what I'm saying? So, Sam supposed to be playing a role in this amyloid, and this is just the reality of it. Like, this is what I'm dealing with right here. Homocysteine can cause Alzheimer's and dementia. I have memory issues, and I didn't realize. I noticed that I was starting to forget stuff lately, but I didn't know it was because of this. Had I not done my blood work, I would have never knew this. I didn't know homocysteine existed. I ain't never heard of that. I just wanted to do blood work because if I want to heal myself, or heal others, I have to heal myself. So I was like, all right, let me do some blood work, you know what I'm saying? And I can start studying how to read blood work because that's how you really can tell what's going on with somebody. So I was just studying this because I wanted to learn how to really see what's going on. So when I saw homocysteine, I was like, what the hell is that? You know what I'm saying? And you see what you're going to get tested for before you buy it. So I seen it, but I was more so looking at what it dealt with because when I first started doing my blood work, I was really just trying to look for like the vitamin and mineral deficiencies and just start there because there's still a lot of things I don't know about. That I heard of the word, I'm familiar with it, but I don't understand how it works because I haven't zoomed in to study that yet. So it's really hard for me to speak on that. So I was going to have to study that anyway. So it ain't even crossed my mind. I was trying to look at the minerals and the electrolytes and all that. But when this came back red, like I'm looking at all this and I'm like, okay, this took a while for me to learn. You know what I'm saying? This took a while for me to learn, and Sam playing a part in making sure that the tau protein doesn't get all this phosphate on it to break up the cytoskeleton, just like Sam deficiency over here is causing this gamma protein to start acting up because if I had Sam, if I had a good amount of Sam donating these methyl groups, I would be able to slow down and stop the production of this gamma secretase. This goes back to what I was saying about how you got certain things that run automatically where you need to add a methyl group, to stop it. This is one of those situations. So it's like Sam is responsible for all this, but it's not Sam's fault. You know what I'm saying? It's my fault. Now, I want to go to let me go here. Right? So dealing with methionine, right? That comes from your diet, right? There's certain foods that's very high in methionine. And peep how this works. So when I looked up the foods that are very high in methionine, right? You got eggs, okay? Chicken, beef, pork, fish, shellfish. So we're talking about eggs and meats, right? Eggs, meats, dairy, so milk, cheese, right? Beans, corn, grains, rice, wheats, and like oats, like once you start getting to the plants, it starts to decrease, but it's high enough to still mention. These things have it. Soy, which I wasn't doing that anyway, but I mean it's just crazy. Like when you look at eggs and beans, right, and dairy. When I stopped eating meat at one point, I noticed I picked up a lot of breakfast tacos, breakfast burritos. You know what I'm saying? Eggs, like potato, eggs, bean, and cheese. And then I add some avocado in there, whatever. But, I shouldn't be doing any of that. So while I got eggs, beans, and cheese, that's all methionine in there. Here I am staying away from meat thinking I'm doing myself some good, and I picked up more methionine anyway because it's high in the beans and in the eggs. Eggs was like number one, I believe. So how many of us eat breakfast? You know what I'm saying? Eggs, cheese eggs, cheeseburgers. It's Well, and then when you're eating these things, right, these meats and all that stuff, they don't have the folate and the vitamin B12 like that, you know what I'm saying, or the vitamin B12. They don't have this stuff. The eggs, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I didn't realize what I was doing. Like a lot of us didn't. I'm sure a lot of us don't like, I'm sure this is a lot of y'all first time hearing about this. You know what I'm saying? So if you've been eating a lot of eggs, you know, and, you know, breakfast and beans and meats, go get your blood work for that homocysteine and see what it is, because this could help, you know, and this is according to my research. So I could be wrong. So let me say this, disclaimer, you know what I'm saying? Do not take this video for professional medical advice. I'm documenting my own healing. According to my research, this is what it is. So if this is what it is, you know what I'm saying, according to my blood work as well, saying that it's vitamin B12 and B9 deficient, I had to go to the hospital to get my blood work done. This is Quest Diagnostics right here. You know what I'm saying? So according to the professionals, they're saying it is vitamin B12 and B9 deficiency. And then when you start to study the professors and scientists that talk about this, they say that vitamin B12 and B9 is used to turn homocysteine back into methionine, which you need to do that, because by you keep doing that, you're going to keep creating more SAM, which is going to be used to add methyl groups to keep activating and deactivating genes that you need to turn on and turn off, because when that happens, you're going to get something like this. A lack of SAM is going to cause an overexpression of the gamma secretase enzyme, which is going to be the final stage of creating an amyloid beta, and having a lack of methyl groups is also going to cause a hyperphosphorylation of the tau protein, because it's not going to be able to remove the phosphates from the tau, which is going to cause the tau to remove itself, which is going to break the skeleton up. And it just so happens that by you having a hyper tau phosphorylation, because whenever they start coming apart and breaking apart, they start to tangle up. So you got tau tangles because of this, and then you have amyloid beta plaque buildup because of this. So because of this vitamin B12 deficiency, according to the scientists, these two things get created, and it's just so happened that a lack of this SAM that's causing amyloid beta and tau protein just so happened to cause Alzheimer's and dementia, because of the which results in a high homocysteine, because SAW is a inhibitor of SAM. So once you make SAW, you can't go back, which means you have to have vitamin B12 and B9 to go back to methionine, because when you have methionine, the body automatically makes SAM to convert it into SAW to get back to homocysteine. So once again, homocysteine is, even though it was highlighting that, you know, whenever you study this, even though it highlights cerebral, like when you look at it, right, cerebral vascular disease, that's dealing with the arteries, plaque buildup, and the blood vessels going towards the brain, right? Heart disease, which is going to cause, you know, plaque buildup in the heart as well. It's, you know, especially, you know what I'm saying, with the thromboembolic, because it goes to the veins too. So you have, so homocysteine causing plaque buildup in the arteries and the veins and the heart, and it's causing plaque buildup in the nervous system. Oh, and not to mention, right, because this homocysteine is damaging the blood vessels as it's traveling through. We talked about the liver, right? It has to filter, it has to go back through as it's going through the bloodstream, it's going to go back into the liver anyway. It's being made in the liver, and then the liver is still receiving it because of the circulatory system. So it's going to be damaging the filtering system of the liver, which we talked about, you know, that can also cause scar tissue and liver cirrhosis, which is liver failure, right? But the kidneys is also being used to filter the blood also. So the arteries going to the kidneys, which is the afferent artery, that's the beginning filtering process of what you call the nephrons, the glomeruli, like that whole entity that starts off, the afferent artery, that can get compromised, right? The Bowman's capsule all of that can get compromised because it's made out of the blood vessels. It's the arteries because the blood is passing through. And when that gets damaged, you can get scar tissue on your glomerulus, or shall I say the Bowman's capsule. You can get corrosis happening at the beginning stage of your kidney filtering system, which if your filtering system, instead of you having cells and proteins to actually help deal with the filtering process, if none of that is there and you just got connective tissue, then everything's going to be falling through, and you're going to start losing proteins and losing glucose and things in your body that you're supposed to be reabsorbing back into the bloodstream, but now it's going into your bladder and you're losing everything. So this is a very serious issue because that can cause liver failure too. Kidney failure. So homocysteine can cause kidney failure, liver failure, heart failure, and Alzheimer's. That's what I'm looking at. So I need to fix my liver because that's where homocysteine is mainly built up at. I need to fix my kidneys because it's going through the blood vessels, which goes into the kidney through the nephrons to start the filtering process, and it could damage the beginning phase, which could affect everything else. It's going to, by me cleaning my blood, I'm going to be able to fix my heart as well. So I'm not going to say I'm not going to touch it because it's going to get handled anyway. But I definitely for sure need to fix my nervous system because it's by being a neurotoxin is degenerating. Yeah, so let me say this too. So by being a neurotoxin, it degenerates your nervous system. So, and I say you because I'm talking about me, but this is how I'm talking right now. It deteriorates the nervous system. So the axons and the dendrites that I was talking about, right? These things will start to deteriorate because the blood is toxic. So it'll start to tear down and deteriorate, or what you call degenerate. Your dendrites and your axons. So instead of you having everything that you need to send off signals and everything that you need to receive signals, these things may start turning into knuckles and then nubs, then wrists, and it'll start to tear it down. So I'm going to have to regenerate my nervous system, and I'm going to have to make sure that my stem cells can, my blood just needs to be as clean as it can so my stem cells can make more of these things more efficiently. Because I also seen this part I didn't make a PowerPoint on, but I'm going to address it because it's needed, but I don't believe that applies to me. But I'm still doing research on it, so if that happens, then I will bring it up. I will make a part 2 of this episode too. But right now, this is what it is. But there's different types of amyloid levels of diagnostics, right? So amyloid protein can also come from your bone marrow, where basically it's like your white blood cells, or specifically your B cells, right? Your B cells is what's used to get rid of any foreign entities that's dangerous towards the body. It'll bond to it and get rid of it before it connects to your cells and start doing damage. So that's what the B cells do. And because of that, these B cells can release what you call antibodies. It'll send out these receptors, these proteins from itself to go attach to the issue and then neutralize it. Well, while the stem cells is creating more B cells, what can happen is your B cells can end up growing and turning, it can end up mutating while it's developing. And if you have a mutated B cell, whenever it sends off these proteins, these antibodies, it could be deformed, or what you call misfolded, because these proteins could be made wrong. And if these proteins is made wrong, I believe that's what they call light chains. These light chains can attach to other proteins, and that can actually, that can cause these amyloid proteins that's being made from light chains. These things are not able to get broken down by the body because it's deformed, so the body doesn't recognize it. So your body doesn't have anything inside itself to break it down. So what's going to have to happen is that's going to determine like the 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 diet that you have for sure. Now there's a level to that. I don't know what the connection is between what I just talked about and then it actually being coming from the cerebral spinal fluid. You know what I'm saying? But um, I'm still studying that. It looks like there's levels to it, obviously. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what level has to happen in the amyloid buildup in order to start damaging the white blood cells, because you need your white blood cells to detox. So if your white blood cells is compromised, where it's starting to contribute to making this undigestible, protein that your body can't break down, then that's a huge issue, because now you have a lymphatic system disorder, and it's like how you're going to clean yourself without the lymphatic system. So now that's going to be a harder, issue, and that doesn't look like that's what I'm dealing with, thank goodness. But I still want to learn more about that so I can see what has to happen, what stage does that take place in. So if one day I'm gonna figure that out and I'll let y'all know, but it doesn't look like that has anything to do with me. So, so now we have to get started. It's a little hot in here. I'm gonna try to turn this air on. Hopefully, it's not making no noise. So yeah. So starting off, keeping in mind with my first video with my X-ray, I still need to rehydrate. I still need to rehydrate my body. I still need these electrolytes. I still need all that because of my spinal column. So I still got to start stretching. I hope that's not loud, but I still have to keep stretching, going to the chiropractor whenever I get a chance to. I still got to do all this. So I'm trying to mix the two. I have to keep rehydrating while dealing with this homocysteine, which would be great because they pretty much go hand in hand anyway. Because by the homocysteine causing all this damage, adding stress, going back to my first video, that's going to start stripping the bones. So homocysteine is going to contribute to that also. So even though I'm going to be touching everything, my ultimate goals, man, is to reverse what's in the red while still making sure that I take care of my spinal structure to rehydrate my disc so I can still one day realign my body. So I have to think about all that. So I'm going to merge what I did with my first episode with this one. In my first episode, I was just talking about, me doing melons, because melons have a lot of water content, and I need to make sure that I drink a lot of, fruits, fruit juice, vegetable juice, whatever that I need for me. That sounds really loud. I hope that doesn't make too much noise, but it'll go off eventually. Now I have to cut it off. Actually, there we go. So, where was I? Yeah, so, I still got to make sure that I take in. The only things that I was drinking in my first episode that I gave myself to begin with was cucumber juice, because of the cucurbitacin makes it a melon, because all the melons have this entity, and you can hear the word cucumber in it. This chemical protects the nervous system and helps all your cells regenerate. So I definitely need that still, because I need to protect my nervous system and I need my cells to regenerate. My liver cells, my kidney cells, my vascular cells, my heart cells, my brain cells, everywhere that it's touching is damaging. So I'm going to have to make sure that I rebuild those cells while protecting my nervous system because of the pinched nerve from my first video. Plus, we see what homocysteine is doing to my nervous system. It's deteriorating, my receptors that's dealing with memory, while also tearing up the exons and the dendrites, causing them to deform and not be able to send the right signals. And just being toxic in the blood is also going to deteriorate my nervous system cells. So I need that anyway. So I'm going to continue to take the cucumber juice, or the melons, honestly, but I like cucumbers. I'm going to continue to do that, but I'm going to add other things into this. So I need vitamin B12. So when you look at vitamin B12 and B9, you see what fruits have those. For sure, you know what I'm saying, apples have vitamin B12 and it has folate in it. So I'm going to add apples into my cucumber mix because I'm actually going to get green apples. Green apples because the sour taste has a astringency to it that I talked about before. This astringent chemical is called phenols. These phenols is what makes the astringency happen. It's what's pulling, the plaque or the extra mucus, off the cell to help clear the pathway so your body can start to receive and communicate properly. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to get the apples, for that, mainly because of the vitamin B12 and B9, but I'm getting the green apples to go with my green cucumbers. So I'm really going to make me a green mix. So I got cucumbers, I got green apples, and then I also have kiwi in here. So kiwi is what I added, because of my bones and stress, because kiwis have a lot of vitamin C in it that I talked about in my last video, the antioxidants that help neutralize the free radicals, caused by stress, and also being used to repair the body. But kiwi, I really got kiwi because of that, and because of, most importantly, vitamin K. Vitamin K is used by your bone cells, like where I'm gonna just highlight that, where your bone cells it has a protein called vitamin K dependent protein, where it's dependent on vitamin K. It uses vitamin K to receive calcium into the bone cells to make your bones more dense. So vitamin K can be used to help me regrow strong bones. I still got to make sure that I do that. But it's full of antioxidants, you know what I'm saying? And vitamin C is going to also help deal with the damage in the blood that homocysteine has done. So that's going to be my green drink, but I just added something else. I just added celery. Celery into this green mix, man. Celery has a lot of sodium in it. That's why I got it. Good sodium, because when it comes to your kidneys, whenever your kidneys use sodium, your sodium uses water to bring the acids through the kidneys to start the filtering process and to take some of that water into the bladder to make urine. Most of that sodium in water is going to get reabsorbed back into the body, and it uses sodium to do that. You have channels that open up and close on your cells that respond when sodium is around. So when sodium comes around, it opens up, and sodium being attached to water is going to bring water back into the body. Your glucose, your insulin, whatever that things important proteins and entities that your body needs, sodium is going to be used to attach to it to bring it back into the bloodstream so you don't use it, or so you don't lose it. So I'm going to make sure that I need a lot of sodium to help out, because I don't know what's going on with with my kidneys and homocysteine. So I kind of want to make sure that I bring in anything that did make it through that wasn't supposed to go through. So I'm going to use celery for that. So that's my green mix: cucumbers, green apples, kiwi, and celery. When I was doing cucumbers, green apples, and kiwi, to make a 32 ounce, it would take me 2 cucumbers, 4 green apples, and a pack of kiwi that came in like 5, maybe even 6. That always got me a 32 ounce. So now that I'm adding celery, I'm not finna take away apples because I need the vitamin B12. So what I decided to do was I took some of the kiwi out, but I decided to turn some of that kiwi and put that into my berry smoothie, because kiwi is a berry, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute too. So taking some of the kiwi out and replacing it with celery, that's going to make my green drink right there. That's what I have so far. That's that 32 ounce. My other 32 ounce, because I'm saying this because in my first video, I'm keeping in mind, I still haven't had time to really study what I should be taking in as far as my height and my weight. Me being 6'4", 195, I don't know what the liquid requirements is, but because of the minimum 8 cups a day, which is 64 ounces, because a cup is 8 ounces, so 8 of that is 64. I'm keeping that in mind to keep that at the minimum, but I'm dehydrated, so I need to go past the 64 mark. So because I don't want to take in anything but fruit juice, vegetable juice, and herbal teas, I'm making sure that when I do go past the 64 ounce, all it is it's just that. I don't want to take in no straight water. I need electrolytes. I need minerals. and I need vitamins. And I get all that from fruit juice, vegetable juice, and my herbal teas. So that's why I'm doing that. But until I take the time out to learn my measurements, then I will address that when that come. And I'm gonna probably go ahead and start studying that once I get this caught up with. Because once I upload this and I juice my fruits and I make my teas and I'm caught up with everything, then I'll go ahead and take some time out to start studying that, which I should be able to make some updates with that in my next video. So with that being said, that's my first 32 ounce. My second 32 ounce is going to be the citrus fruit still, because I still need a lot of vitamin C because of my adrenal glands constantly expressing stress because of the sympathetic nervous system constantly being triggered because of the pinched nerve that I have in my x-ray. So every time your body expresses stress, where the adrenal glands release this cortisol, in a stress response, vitamin C gets released from the adrenal glands as well, because it's used to neutralize the damages that the stress is going to cause and help it repair the body. And since your body doesn't make vitamin C, you're going to have to replenish that. So that's why I'm also jumping into this. So I'm still going to do oranges because they have the most vitamin C out of the citrus fruits, but I'm going to add in my 32 ounce, I'm going to actually juice 2 lemons, because the lemons have sodium, oranges do not. And also these citrus fruits have a chemical that I learned called limonene. So this limonene chemical is a phytochemical, man, that really is good for helping detox the liver. So not only am I going to get all this vitamin C to help me with my liver and my kidney because of the high as a matter of fact, I should have said this earlier. So the glutathione, right? So the vitamin C is going to help with the glutathione, because those are the antioxidants in your body. You know what I'm saying? So while my body doesn't really have a lot of that, vitamin C can help fight off the free radicals, damages being done in the body, while my body starts to rejuvenate itself using the vitamins and minerals in my body. So the high vitamin C content, because the glutathione is high in the liver and the kidney, because they both filter in the blood, I need vitamin C for that. And I also need to replenish vitamin C from my adrenal glands and just everywhere throughout my body. So but the high astringency of these citrus fruits would also help me get rid of some of this plaque buildup, because the vitamin C as well also helps get rid of plaque buildup in the artery walls. So that will also clear my blood vessels. So that's also why I really wanted to keep the vitamin C. So it's doing a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be my 2 drinks, my 2 32 ounce drinks, which is the 64 ounce right there. As far as me eating, I said I was going to take some of those kiwis and turn them into my berry smoothies, right? So, of course, I'm going to cut the skin off the berries, but I'm going to keep the skin of the kiwis, like I kept the peels of the oranges and the lemons. So what I'm doing with that is, you find out that you can get a lot more vitamin C from the actual skin and the peel itself than the actual fruit, and then you get some more minerals inside of the skin as well. And by me cutting the skin off the kiwi, of course, it'll have some of the kiwi on it. You know what I'm saying? So, cool. I'll be able to get that as well. But by me taking the orange peel, the lemon peel, and the kiwi skin, making that, I'm going to turn that into a tea as well. So I'll be able to extract more vitamin C and more minerals. And that's going to be a tea drink. Where what I'm going to do with that tea drink, I'm actually going to mix a vitamin C powder mix that I came up with to mix with that. I might as well go into the powder mix right now, and then I'm gonna get back into the berries. So my powder mix is this. So I have rose hip powder, right? Rose hip is a berry, so it's full of antioxidants, and it's and have anthocyanins. What I've learned that I came across with these anthocyanins, they actually help make more T cells in the body, and that's what my body needs to help get rid of the bad compromised cells and get rid of the problem. Because by me getting rid of that, I'll be also getting rid of the amyloid and the tau that comes with it, because the amyloid is really outside the cell. But creating more white blood cells, I'll be able to activate more macrophages, which is like the Pac-Man cell that will be able to go through and pick up any of the debris that's maybe compromising the body. So my white blood cells activation is going to be able to clear that up anyway. And that's what I learned about anthocyanins, that they do that. So I'm going to definitely enjoy that. Um, so memory issue, I just went blank. So with the anthocyanins, coming from the I have the elderberry inside of this uh, tea as well. I should have mentioned that, but the rosehip berry being a berry, this is what comes with that. But I mainly got it because it's super high in vitamin C, and it has a lot of calcium in it as well. And the vitamin C content, I what I learned is which is why it's very good to have it in a powder form. Whenever you're making teas, vitamin C is going to be easily destroyed in hot water. So when I me having it in a tea form, I would probably steep it if I was to have herbs that's in a vitamin C. That was high in vitamin C. I would steep the tea versus boil it. And I say that because of dandelion root, but I took that out. But that was just something that I learned that I feel like I should be able to say. But the rosehip berries, super high in vitamin C. I'm definitely going to get that, right? And then I have alfalfa powder. Alfalfa is a herb that's very high in vitamin C as well, and is extremely high in calcium. And it has vitamin A, which deals with bone formation, right? So while I'm building my bones, I need vitamin A to help me make sure that formation happens properly. The high vitamin C content, which we know that deals with connective tissue, which your bones have connective tissue, so that's going to contribute to that as well. And then it has vitamin K, which we know now that vitamin K is used to help the cells absorb calcium. So not only alfalfa has vitamin K, so the cells can receive calcium, it's high in calcium, so you can go ahead and add to the bones while having vitamin A to deal with the bone formation, and vitamin C. So alfalfa is really good for the bones, you know what I'm saying? And rosehip, just to go back, rosehip has vitamin A as well, but rosehip has vitamin E. Now, what I learned about vitamin E is vitamin E and vitamin C works really good with the damage that homocysteine is doing, because vitamin E likes to deal with the thicker areas of the body, like the cell membrane. Vitamin E is a thicker vitamin. It's not water soluble. So, which is also why it's good to get it in a powder form like vitamin K. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't get those in a tea. So getting in a powder form, I'll be able to absorb that vitamin K and that vitamin E. So the vitamin E like to be around the cell membrane. By homocysteine being toxic in the blood, when it gets in contact with the cell, the first thing is the membrane. So vitamin E can be there to help neutralize any damages that homocysteine has done, and that will also protect the cell from using its antioxidants that the body uses. So I like vitamin E, I like vitamin C, vitamin E, I like all that. I think that's going to be very important. But nonetheless, alfalfa and rosehip is very high in vitamin C. Also, I have cayenne pepper powder. So cayenne pepper powder, because the capsaicin chemical, which is non-water soluble, so it doesn't mix with water either. What this chemical does is it actually helps the pancreas create more digestive enzymes, which is very good for me because my digestive system is compromised because of how messed up my liver is. And that's going to cause a domino effect for my intestines and everything else too. So, by my liver is supposed to be helping create more gallbladder bile that goes into the pancreas and mix with the pancreas digestive enzymes to go into the small intestines. So whenever my stomach acid goes into the intestines to start the absorbing, to put everything into the bloodstream or into the lymphatic system, by this high stress happening, it could definitely put a strain on the pancreas. And that's going to limit the digestive enzyme production, and homocysteine is going to help not help, but just slow down that process and affect that as well, because it's damaging everywhere. So it's going to damage the pancreas too. So that's going to help my pancreas hopefully create more digestive enzymes, but my body is going to be able to get the ingredients that it needs so it can create these digestive enzymes. So I got the cayenne pepper powder for that, but also because I know that it's a blood thinner, which is good for me because the plaque buildup that's going into my arteries, in my veins. Thinning the blood is going to help the circulation get past all that. Plus, cayenne pepper has a lot of vitamin C, so all these things having vitamin C should be able to help over time, break down the plaque buildup to open up my vascular walls so my blood can circulate properly. That's another thing. And also, third but not least, like this capsaicin chemical actually helps break down this amyloid protein. You know what I'm saying? Because what it does is there's different ways of cellular stress, and I left this out here. Another cellular stress response is creating lipid cells, or what they call fatty acids. Fatty acids, anytime your body is making fat or plaque, that is a cellular stress response that's going to activate the beta secretase pathway to creating amyloid. So what the capsaicin does, it does the opposite. Because going back here now, I have to show you now. So going down the non-amyloidogenic pathway now, what capsaicin does, it promotes the non-amyloidogenic pathway because it's not stressful for the body. It's coming with the things to help the blood circulate properly. The antioxidants is going to help, also, cause, lower your blood pressure, because having plaque buildup is going to increase your blood pressure. So this cayenne pepper powder is going to also, reduce your blood pressure. Okay, it has antioxidants, so it's going to prevent cellular stress or oxidative stress, which is hypoxia that I was talking about, and it's going to also start to oxidize the lipid cells, which means that it's going to start killing off the fat cells. And whenever you start to remove the fat cells, that's fatty acids, which is another cellular stress response. So because capsaicin is going to be participating in removing, fat cells or plaque, amyloid beta is a plaque as it builds up. Capsaicin does the opposite. So by going the opposite direction, it's going to promote the alpha secretase response. And when that happens, it's no longer going to make the amyloid beta, because it cuts it at a specific part that automatically prevents that from happening. So that's also why I got cayenne pepper powder in there. And then last but not least, I have turmeric root powder. Turmeric root powder has a lot of vitamin C in it as well, but I like turmeric root powder because of the curcumin. Curcumin, you can get curcumin inside of turmeric tea, but most of curcumin does not mix with water, so you'll have to, get it accordingly, apparently in a tincture or, in a powder form. So what curcumin does, I like curcumin because it also promotes more activation and production of your T cells, your white blood cells. So that's going to help, create more detoxification to take place. But also curcumin is a heavy metal detoxer. Cilantro is really used for heavy metal detox because the chemical inside of cilantro you can get in the tea. It mixes with water. The chemical inside of turmeric root, most of it really don't mix with water. You get maybe 3% that can mix in water, according to what I've came across. But most of it doesn't mix with water. So that's why I have a powder form, because while the kidneys is shutting down, mercury is going to continue to build up in the body. And the glomerular filtration rate, that's the beginning process of the filtering system in the kidneys, is based on mercury, because mercury likes to bond to a compound called thiol. And thiol actually is attached, as a matter of fact, let's go here now. So thiol is attached to cysteine and glutathione. And mercury likes to bond to thiol, and thiol is attached, and you need thiol to make cysteine and glutathione. It's a part of the whole attachment. When you look up cysteine, it has thiol in it. When you look at glutathione, it has thiol in it. So, and albumin as well. And albumin comes from the liver. You know what I'm saying? And the kidneys have to reabsorb this albumin and put it back into the bloodstream. So that's going to go to the kidneys as well. But most of the mercury is inside the kidneys, you know what I'm saying? And this is why, because the kidneys have more glutathione than all the other organs. So this mercury likes to damage, it damages the mitochondria, which is going to cause more cellular damage, which causes free radicals, which will promote apoptosis, systematic cell shutdown, kill the cell off. Mercury also plays a part. Now, for that to take place with the nervous system, right? So watch this. Mercury destroys the nervous system, right? But not only does it deteriorate because it's very toxic for the body, not only is it a neurotoxin and it starts to deteriorate and tear down the nervous system, but it also prevents your stem cells from turning into neurons to replace the damaged cells that your body got to get rid of. So by me having a kidney issue, first thing I think about is mercury, so I got to do a metal detox. So by me being able to get rid of the, to try to reduce the toxic that's happening in my body because of the homocysteine. Mercury, homocysteine is technically going to be indirectly responsible for mercury buildup, and I got to make sure that don't happen. So that's that. So I got turmeric root powder, cayenne pepper powder, alfalfa powder, and rosehip powder, making my 4 powder mix, which they are is high in vitamin C. I have that inside of my vitamin C fruit tea that I made with the orange peel, lemon peel, and the kiwi skin. And just to add some extra on top of it, I put some elderberry in there as well. So that's one I have that as well, and that's going to be a 16 ounce. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to make sure that I try to drink that every day as well. That's one of my powder mixes. Now, getting back into the berries now, as far as what I'm going to be eating. I know I said I took some kiwis out because I added celery into my green mix. I'm going to take some of that kiwi and I'm going to put it into my berry smoothies. Berry smoothies is convenient for me because I drive trucks. I can't sit down and eat all the time. So instead of me cleaning my berries and having a container of berries in my lap while I'm driving and eating, that's really unsafe. It's safe. It's convenient for me to turn them into a smoothie with a lid on it in a cup holder. As far as I'm driving, I could just sip it and put it back down. So that's why I say a berry smoothie. But by me making a berry smoothie, because I need a lot of antioxidants, and berries actually, there's different types of antioxidants, and the antioxidants in berries is capable of making it in what they call the blood-brain barrier, where there's a gateway, there's a barrier that's going to stop certain things that you're not able to get through. The antioxidants in the berries is able to make it past that to actually protect the nervous system. So berries is really good and because they have the most antioxidants out of all these other fruits, so that's also why I need it. But these berries, is going to be really good for the entire body, like the heart as well, the kidney, the liver, but they're really good for the nervous system. And because of the anthocyanins in them berries, we know what that's going to do. But these berries also help participate, by them helping clear out and detox the nervous system. They'll be assisting in the nervous system regeneration process. So that's my berry smoothies. And iodine is very important too, because iodine is actually in the strawberries that your thyroid needs to make thyroid hormones. And I think I mentioned that in my first video, so I don't want to do too much repeating. But inside of my berry smoothie, I have honey, right? Manuka honey to be exact. It's a little pricey, but it's the best honey out there for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And all the good bacteria inside this Manuka honey is going to be good for my defense of my body. I have bacteria all on my skin. I have bacteria in my mouth, in my organs, all over my body that's actually used as another form of defense against any foreign entities that's posing any threats to the body. So if there's anything going on in the body that needs to get broken down, that's causing a problem, bacteria can help with that process. You know what I'm saying? And it's so much that I can really jump into. I don't want to try to name everything, but honey is very good, especially with the high antioxidants that's in it, that can help also reduce high blood pressure as well. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be good for my vascular system. I also have another powder mix that I created that I put inside of this nervous system smoothie, which is pretty much what it is, because of the berries and the honey is going to contribute to that. But because I need to help regenerate my nervous system, I created a powder that's for my nervous system. So, you know, it does more than that, but I'm trying to highlight the nervous system in this aspect. So one of the powders that I have is ashwagandha. I have ashwagandha because it's going to help prevent my nervous system from activating the sympathetic nervous system, which is going to be triggering stress. I got that because of my first video with the x-rays pinching on the nerve. I have to keep making sure that regardless of what I do, I keep taking in ashwagandha. So no matter what I do, I'm going to always keep that in there. So I have ashwagandha in there for that, and it's going to be good for the nervous system because when my body is going through stress, that can actually put a damage on the nervous system, because when your body goes through stress, this high cortisol damages the nervous system, but the high cortisol causes a high release of glucose, which when that goes into the bloodstream and it feeds my central nervous system, all this high glucose is going to overact, put the cells in a hyperdrive, and then that's going to cause the mitochondria to overreact, and that's going to cause cellular damage for my nervous system. So, I need ashwagandha anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because homocysteine is definitely going to contribute to that as well. So, I got ashwagandha in that. The second powder that I have is Go-To Cola powder. Go-To Cola powder is a herb. Go-To Cola is a herb that actually regenerates the nervous system. So what I was talking about with the dendrites and the axons being able to regrow, because you need those to send off signals and receive signals, and because the blood is toxic, it can start to deteriorate and degenerate the axons and the dendrites. Go-To Cola is going to actually help these things regrow and restore. As a matter of fact, Go-To Cola powder and lion's mane mushroom powder I have also is going to do that. And that's why they both deal with the feature of improving your memory, because it's helping you regrow your nervous system, which is going to help you communicate even better. You know what I'm saying? And that's also, and with that being said, lion's mane mushrooms, from my research, has vitamin B12 in it. Even better. These fruits I'm taking, they have folate in them. So I'm getting vitamin B6, I'm getting folate, which is vitamin B9, and I'm getting vitamin B12 with this update that I'm giving. And it's also inside of the mushroom as well. So I'm keeping that in mind. As a matter of fact, I don't even know why I forgot this. Well, technically I do know why now, because of the amyloid. I know why I forgot this now. So alfalfa is super potent. Well, not, I ain't say super potent, but it's rich in vitamin B12. And that was the last thing that I found out about alfalfa. I wasn't even looking at alfalfa for that. I was looking at herbs that's really high in vitamin C, and I started looking at alfalfa. And when I saw that alfalfa had vitamin B12, that was before I did my blood work, before I even knew what that was. So I already I kind of made this vitamin C mix before this homocysteine, because I was still studying based off of my first one with the stress and the vitamin C. So I was still trying to find ways to upgrade. So I've been found out about vitamin C with alfalfa, but I found it out after the first episode, and well, technically the first PowerPoint, and before this episode. So now I know that I made an even better decision. I went the right way on accident, technically, because I was getting it because of the vitamin C, and the uric acid that it helps get rid of, to prevent calcification going on inside the body, and the vitamin K and the vitamin A and the high calcium to help rebuild my bones. I was doing that anyway with alfalfa, but the fact that it also has a rich amount of vitamin B12, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So that's a plus right there. I did that on accident, but that just shows you, man, that nature don't play. So alfalfa is perfect for me, basically, in this situation. So yeah, I have alfalfa. No, I'm sorry. I have Go-To Cola powder, lion's mane mushroom powder, and my third powder inside of this nervous system repair mix is actually astragalus powder. Astragalus doesn't contribute specifically to it isn't exclusive for the nervous system, but what astragalus does is this in a powder form, because you're not able to get it from in a tincture, in a water, in a tea, because it doesn't mix with water. But astragalus has the power of it influences your bone marrow to make more stem cells, which we need because the stem cells will turn into whatever the cell the body needs to get distributed to that part. Not only does astragalus help the body make more stem cells, but it will take a lot of those stem cells and turn them into T cells, so you can start getting, helping get rid of the problem faster. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's dope too. So that's also why I have astragalus, because your white blood cells take place in every part of your body. You know what I'm saying? And because I have a lot of damaged, cells, they gotta go. You know what I'm saying? Especially the ones that got the tau protein tangles that's piling up inside of it. You know what I'm saying? They really gotta go. You know what I'm saying? I chose astragalus because it's not going to take all of the extra stem cells that your body makes. There's no documentation on that. It makes a lot of stem cells, and when it helps the body make a lot of stem cells, the production of helping making more T cells increases as well. But that doesn't mean that all the extra stem cells is straight T cells. You know what I'm saying? You really don't have a lot of these cells in your body. It's like probably like 1 or 2% of your cells of your blood is these white blood cells, from my understanding. Could be wrong, but I don't mind being wrong in the aspect. But long story short, I need to help make more stem cells anyway, and then make more T cells. So that's that powder mix. So I got that powder mix with the Manuka honey inside of my berry smoothies, which I added some kiwi in there because I took it out so I took some of it out so some of the celery can go inside my green juice. So that's what I'm going to be doing. For my drinks, and that's my powder mix. I have another powder mix though. I have one more. These I'm gonna actually make capsules. These capsules is because they're very bad. They're very nasty. And this has nothing to do with homocysteine. This is just something that I realized that I should do while I'm detoxing anyway. So, well, I ain't gonna say it had nothing to do with homocysteine, because by me eating meat majority of my life, if the meat that I've been eating was not overly cooked, well done, then chances are there's parasites that are living inside of my body, and that came with the homo. I mean, that came with the homo. That was crazy. They came with the methionine. You know what I'm saying? Because of the high amounts of meat that I've been eating majority of my life, like most of us, how we grew up in the same, similar household. So I need to do a parasite cleanse. And that's going to be dealing with my liver and my intestines, so basically my digestive system, which I need to be touching my liver anyway, because I have 3 T's that I'm going to be going over. Like the first episode, I just talked about the adrenal gland and my kidney T. This one I'm going to go over 3 T's, because I'm going to address my liver, my kidney, and my nervous system. So I have a powder mix first that I'm going to jump into, then I'm going to close out with the herbs. So there's a specific person that's an expert in what I'm talking about, that's been doing this for a long time. I don't want to say their name because I'm not a clout chaser. I like to do my own research. You know what I'm saying? I'll listen every now and then, but I kind of don't like listening because I don't want the answer. I would rather you tell me, instead of giving me the answer to number 14, tell me where I can find 14, and then I'll do my own research. So I kind of like learning instead of just learning the answer, I like to learn why that's the answer as well, because it helps me learn everything in between that doesn't get in conversation. Because if you regurgitate, you end up in a conversation that's going to go down a certain lane that you're not going to know because you're regurgitating. So I like to do my own research as well. So respectfully, I don't listen to them as much because I like to fact check. I listen so I can fact check, but I fact check so I can understand, and then I do comparative studies, and I just want to be able to know what I'm talking about. So, and I'm saying that because of this. This person was talking about a parasite cleanse, and they gave 4 herbs to do a parasite cleanse with, but they gave them in a powder form, which was wormwood powder, cascara sagrada powder, clove powder, and cinnamon powder. And I was wondering, like, why do you have to take the powder form in order to get rid of these parasites when you have herbs that you can drink in a tea that'll help get rid of it? What is it about the powder? So that's what got me started thinking, like, when you making these teas, everything don't get extracted from these herbs. There are still because obviously, if it, the herb does not dissolve, so you're not taking everything. So there's still something inside of these herbs that doesn't get extracted in a tea that's still there, which is why you need to take them in a powder form or tinctures. So I started like trying to figure out what those was, and what I came across was a thick chemical called I almost said amyloid on accident. Um, Alkaloid is a very similar word. That's why I almost said it wrong. Alkaloids. There's like over 30,000 alkaloids, so not all alkaloids do the same thing, but these alkaloids involved in these herbs is very potent. Uh, from my understanding, these alkaloids have nitrogen in it, and when I was studying some features of melanin, what I learned about melanin is that melanin has a compound called indole. Indole is made of two rings. One of the rings is the same ring is of a alkaloid, which is why when you look at some of the properties of whenever you look at some of the properties, the anti-properties of melanin, some of the anti-properties of melanin is anti-malaria, which deals with parasites, antimicrobacterial, all that, like viral, like it has the compounds in it to help your body fight off parasites. So I thought that was crazy. So these alkaloids inside of these herbs, parasites do not like them. It irritates the hell out of them. They can't stand it. You know what I'm saying? It'll paralyze them. It'll kill them off, all that. And it'll help the body get rid of it faster. They're very potent. So when I learned that, I also tried to learn what the name of those alkaloids were. I'm not going to say I hit a brick wall, but it's a lot more harder to find because I haven't seen every article out there, but I haven't found it. But I haven't looked everywhere either because I try to make sure that I just do a lot of excessive searching. I still have to upgrade the way I research. I'm not an expert researcher either, so it could be out there is what I'm basically saying. But the other reason why I'm saying that is because I'm aware that some experiments you got to pay for, and they're expensive. I plan on paying for my own experiments. I plan on getting these fruits and vegetables and herbs tested on so I can get the full mineral vitamin content and the phytochemicals, all that, and the toxins. These things are it takes money. I'm not there yet. I'm not ashamed to say that, but that's why I don't know the name of these alkaloids. But what I did find out is these things. But there are articles that talk about the alkaloids in these things. Participate in getting rid of parasites. They don't like them. So because when you take on something in a powder form, you're taking everything, which makes the plant more potent. You don't need that much of it. So taking a powder, you don't need that much powder to get a real good amount of to make it effective. So what I decided to do was take these four powders, not mix them all together, but I kind of divided them in two to make sure that I still benefited more from certain powders. So basically, I'm just doing like cascara powder and wormwood powder. I'm turning those into capsules. And then I got cinnamon powder and clove powder, and I turn those into capsules. So I already got the cascara and the wormwood powder made. I still need to do my cinnamon and clove powder. So once I get those capsules done, I'm really going to take one of each of those capsules a day. So that's like 2 capsules a day. I'm going to go ahead and drink, take one capsule whenever I drink one of my juices, and then I'm going to take the other capsule when I drink my other juice. Saying if I was to come up with a strategy or a schedule on when to drink my 2 juices and my 3 teas and all that, I wake up, drink my juice, take a capsule with it, take one of my teas, take a juice, take a capsule with that juice, take a tea, and then I still have my vitamin C tea, and then my other last tea at the end of the day. I would probably take that vitamin C powder drink during the day while the sun is out, while my digestive system is at its most active state. So I'll probably put that in the middle. I'll probably do my drink, my first juice with the first capsule, and then my powder drink, and then my tea, and then the juice, and then the same cycle again. So that's probably what I'm going ahead and have to do, just to make sure that I can just keep taking everything. So those is the capsules. So now let me get into my teas. I kind of knew this video was going to be long, but by me constantly doing this, by the time I do my third video, I don't have to break all this down. So the third video should be a lot, shorter, because I plan on doing this, because that's another thing on why updating is important. Some things ain't gonna take 30 days to do. Some things you may have to do for 60 days. So that's why while I'm figuring things out, I'm highlighting what's mainly my issue, so that way it don't change. The first video was just stress. So I'm still taking the same kidney and adrenal gland herbs for that tea that I mentioned in the first one. So that's the first tea, which was ashwagandha, parsley, juniper berries, plantain leaf, gravel root, and hydrangea root. I'm still going to do all that for this section, because it's still going to be helping me with my kidneys because of the homocysteine damaging my kidneys. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still going to do all that. So this first tea, because I'm going to actually take this first tea first. I'm going to take my kidney and adrenal gland tea second, because I'm following the way that the blood cycles. Whenever you drink fluids, and these liquids go straight into the bloodstream. Once it gets absorbed, it passes up your stomach, then your small intestines absorb it, and then it goes into the bloodstream through the small intestines, where the first stop is the liver. So I want to feed my liver first. So I want to do my liver tea first. So with that being said, my first herb inside of my liver tea is going to be Cascara sagrada. Even though I'm taking the capsules, it's not that much, but I understand because it's more potent, but I still want to be able to make, get the tea as well. It wouldn't hurt to do that. So I got Cascara sagrada in these teas. So what Cascara does is it's a bitter, astringent laxative. So it's going to make you poop. It's going to help you flush out your intestines. But, these things also, like I said, they help remove the parasites and the worms that's in your, digestive tract. So, why it's pulling out these parasites. What I notice is herbs that deal with parasites, 9 times out of 10 are either bitters or laxatives. Like they kind of make you poop and flush it out as well. You know what I'm saying? But Cascara sagrada is definitely going to help me clearing up my digestive system. And that's very important, because when I can clear that up, that will also make sure that my body isn't backed up with cellular waste, for my kidneys and for my blood, so my liver can filter properly. My liver is already compromised, so I need to make it as easy as I possibly can. So that's also why I like it. So that's Cascara sagrada right there. The second herb that I have is sarsaparilla. Sarsaparilla definitely is good for filtering out the blood with the liver, which is going to be good for your skin as well, which I definitely need that to open up my pores, for exercising outside, making sure I'm getting sunlight, because of the third, let me go here again, because the third, the first screenshot at the bottom, or the first screenshot at the top, the second screenshot, the first one at the top is vitamin D. So that's dealing with the liver also. My liver is compromised. So I just need to help detox my liver as much as I can. And sarsaparilla is astringent also. So that's going to help pull any more damages that the homocysteine has done, or any other entity that's causing any plaque buildup. And by that circling through my bloodstream, that's going to also be able to help get rid of, the plaque buildup that's along, that's my artery walls, inside of my liver, inside of my kidney. As a matter of fact, sarsaparilla helps get rid of uric acid, and it's astringent on the urinary system too, which is why I really like it, because the kidneys and the liver both filter the blood. Sarsaparilla works with the liver and the kidneys, so that's even perfect right there. So that's sarsaparilla. So that's I have the sarsaparilla as my second herb right there. And sarsaparilla, I'm still studying this one, but what I came across is sarsaparilla also does good with like cancer cells. I have an article I downloaded. It deals with the cancer cells in your adrenal glands, which is perfect because that's what I'm going to be having issues with because of this homocysteine. It's definitely going to be causing, it could cause cancer. I didn't even realize that. I started searching that up when I found that out about sarsaparilla and I saw the adrenal glands. I started looking up homocysteine. I should have put that in there, but homocysteine definitely causes cancer. It can cause cancer, and dealing with that area with the kidneys and the adrenal glands, or what they call the lumbar region, which are the hip, the sacral bone, that's where I'm having issues with the base of my spinal column, as well. Homocysteine damages that area as well, and it could cause cancer in that location. And sarsaparilla can also help, get rid of cancer also in that same area. So so that's perfect. So that was the last most recent thing that I found out because, like I said, I'm still researching. So that's the most recent thing that I still found out. So one day when I have a full understanding of it, I'll go ahead and make a update part two. It sounds like I'm going to end up doing a part two of this, but I may not do the part two before I do the vitamin D. I'm going to do the part two once I start to learn more of that. So that may come before or after the third video, which is the episode 3, which deals with the vitamin D. Because I mentioned that in my first video dealing with vitamin D and hyperparathyroidism. So I'm going to highlight more of that on that video. So that's why I'm really not touching it like that. You know what I'm saying? So, but if I was to touch on it now, because I mentioned, these herbs having a high amount of calcium, that's going to make sure that my parathyroid doesn't constantly keep releasing the parathyroid hormone because that's responsible for the calcium levels in the blood. So if I can, if I can stop my parathyroid from releasing that hormone, which is triggering my body to make more osteoclast cells to strip calcium from my bones, causing weak bones. If I can put calcium into my body, I can prevent my parathyroid from releasing a hormone, which would stop it from being hyperactive, which is hyperparathyroidism. And I know it's easier said than done, but I got to start somewhere. So that's that. So the third herb I have is gentian root. Gentian root is a bitter also, man. It's a laxative. It's definitely gonna help me, go do number 2 as well. And what I learned about gentian root is that it actually helps the body create more digestive enzymes. And that's going to be very good for my body to help me break down any other entities that's in the way, to help my digestive system even better. Because whatever doesn't get broken down properly that may be still hanging around is going to circulate through the blood, and that's going to affect my body. Specifically, it's going to affect also the thyroid because that deals with metabolism. Because when these things affect the body, and it starts to kill the oxygen, your metabolism slows down, and I see that these digestive enzymes indirectly support the thyroid. So learning that pathway is still something that I want to get into because it's a lot of enzymes that take place. So I'm studying that as well too. So that's coming. But I do know that gentian root will also help with that process. So helping me, all these herbs is definitely helping me detox my liver, which is going to help me clean out my digestive system, right? But most importantly, detoxing my liver. The better that my liver functions, the better my digestive system functions. So when I say digestive system, I'm really talking about my liver. You know what I'm saying? And I understand that when it goes into the blood and it circulates, it can also help feed the pancreas as well. So I'm not saying that the pancreas is not important because it is. It gets affected in stress. You know what I'm saying? But that's gentian root, and gentian root will also help get rid of other worms and parasites as well. So we got Cascara sagrada and we got gentian root. You know what I'm saying? And then this fourth herb, which is a third herb out of these 4, to help deal with getting rid of worms and parasites. That's a bitter. Is black walnut. Black walnut, the husk of the black walnut has iodine, so that's going to also help create more thyroid hormones to be able to increase my metabolism, so my cells can start speeding up the process of, repairing itself a lot faster, so it can fight off what's happening. You know what I'm saying? So I like black walnut for that aspect, but by it, helping me flush out my colon and helping me, get rid of, because these are bitters here. Uh, that's going to make it even better, because by these four being my liver tea, what I'm saying, when I'm starting off doing my teas, I'm going to boil them first. Not high boil, but what I learned is, you have to let these herbs sit in water for about 20 minutes, so it'll help extract some things from it, and then you have to bring it to a boil in a pot. And then once you bring it to a boil, then you can bring it down to where it'll simmer, and you let it simmer for about 20-25 minutes, and that's going to help break down some of the chemicals that's in the way. Some chemicals will get destroyed, but it's not the ones that you need anyway. It's the real potent ones that you're looking for, and that's inside of these bitters, where you could get a lot of these strong constituents, these strong phytochemicals, a lot of these minerals in your body. And pouring a 16 ounce and cooking it down into an 8 ounce makes sense to me, because when I learned how to make elderberry, I was cooking down the water halfway as well to make it more concentrated. Same thing go with these teas, especially with these bitters. So you concentrate them, you have a lot of herbs into that pot, it's going to make it very potent. It's going to be very effective. So that's going to be my first tea. The second tea, like I mentioned, was the adrenal gland and the kidney tea, which, just to quickly sum it up, ashwagandha is going to help stop the stress, because I'm still dealing with this, my x-ray for my first one, dealing with the pinched nerves and any other stress that may happen from this homocysteine buildup in my body. You know what I'm saying? Parsley is going to be good for detoxing the kidneys and the liver, full of antioxidants. You know what I'm saying? It's a diuretic, so it's going to help me flush out my kidneys. So while my kidneys, my nephrons is opening up, parsley, juniper berries, gravel root, and hydrangea root are the 4 herbs that I have in this tea. They're all 4 diuretics, which is going to make me flush out my kidneys. So I'm not going to be absorbing any water and sodium. It's going to be going straight through. It's a one-way street, which if there is any entities that's in there that doesn't belong, that's in the way, any obstruction, those things is going to get flushed out through the kidney, and I'm going to urinate that out. Juniper berries, gravel root, juniper berries and hydrangea root decalcified, hydrangea root and gravel root and plantain leaf astringe. Okay, and that's that. So it's going to help me open up my kidneys basically. So that's that. And then my third tea is dealing with my nervous system. So even though I have Go-To Cola inside of my powder mix, inside of my berry smoothie, I'm going to still have Go-To Cola in this herb mix also. I still need to, it wouldn't hurt. I'm going to save what neurons can be saved, and whatever can't be saved, my white blood cells is just going to have to get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? So Go-To Cola is going to help me repair my nervous system, rebuild my axons and my dendrites and my neurons and my astrocytes. So, that's going to be very helpful. The second nervous system herb I have is blue vervain. Blue vervain deals with anxiety. And having that pinched nerve is going to cause insomnia. And I have a lot of that sometimes. I take advantage of it by reading and researching, but, sometimes I could be hyperactive. Sometimes I'll sleep for 4 hours and then I will wake up and fight or flight. I don't feel no pain. It's just my body will just wake up and then I'm up. I can't go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? And that can cause a lot of anxiety. So blue vervain is very good for that. So I'm going to add blue vervain into the mix. Blue vervain is strong. It's a nasty taste, but it works. And last but not least, man, this third herb I have is actually, I'm thinking about adding ashwagandha in this one too. You know what I'm saying? I'll figure it out when that time comes. It's really just debatable because I already got the powder and I already got it in my adrenal gland tea. But, you know what I'm saying, I might add it to my nervous system tea as well. I don't want to overdo it, but, we'll see what happens. And I'm only saying that because the 6 herbs that I have is going to cause it to have less ashwagandha because I have to make sure that I have enough of each one. So by me having 4 herbs in this one, I have more ashwagandha, which can help me, deal with, blocking that cortisol release to stop stress from happening. So, I might go ahead and put it in there. If I do, it won't be a lot. So I just want to put that in there. You will find out. I'll let you guys know while I'm making it. But this last herb that I have in here is valerian root. Valerian root, it's more like, from my understanding, this is where the pharmaceutical industry get their pain medication from. It's a tranquilizer, so to speak. It would definitely help relax and calm the nervous system, but because it takes place in something called GABA. GABA is a amino acid that really takes place in soothing the nervous system, which actually, to be more specific, it participates in preventing the cell from overexciting. And that's good because it deals with the glutamate, because homocysteine can decrease GABA production. If it can decrease the amount of GABA, the less GABA that you have, the more excited your cells will become. The more excited that they become, that causes cellular stress. So GABA brings a balance. It says, okay, we're not finna, it participates in, let me see how I can word this. It participates in how often the cell is going to get, activated, like, hyper. So it puts a blocker and say, okay, we good right here, preserving, that's the word. GABA is going to help preserve the excitation of the cell. Homocysteine, when it damages the nervous system cell and that magnesium gets removed and all that calcium come in, that's going to overexcite the cell. GABA is going to help prevent that. It's going to stop the cell from having these reactions. It's going to put a blocker on it. It's going to limit it. It's going to preserve it and make sure that it doesn't do it. It'll let some take place, and then it'll say, okay, we're gonna wait, hold on, all right, you straight, all right, cool, and let some more come through. So that's what GABA does. And homocysteine, decreasing the amount of GABA, overexcites that. Valerian root increases GABA production. I had chamomile, but valerian root actually increases more GABA than chamomile. What I did do is, I do have chamomile instead of valerian root because I need to get some more valerian root, but chamomile is just it's still good. It's not finna hurt it at all. You know what I'm saying? I just, whenever I pass it through town again, I definitely have to get some more ashwagandha and valerian root. I definitely need to do that. But chamomile is just going to have to do in the meantime. But as soon as I get a chance to, I'm jumping straight to valerian root. I don't really know about mixing them. I don't want to go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about mixing them, but I would definitely choose those. So my digestive system: Cascara sagrada, sarsaparilla, gentian root, black walnut, right? And then my adrenal gland and kidney tea is ashwagandha, parsley, juniper berries, plantain leaf, gravel root, and hydrangea root. And then my nervous system tea: go-to cola, helping me repair my nervous system; blue vervain, to help my body from having these anxiety attacks because of the pinched nerve constantly with my first video showing my x-ray. And that can also help me soothe and calm my nervous system as well, which I'm a backdoor with chamomile or valerian root to help my body make more GABA production, so I can fight off what homocysteine is doing and putting a blocker on that excitation to help calm my nervous system, to prevent more cellular damage. Because when you go through cellular damage, you know what I'm saying, it's going to continue to do this. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. So that's what I'm going to be doing for myself, man. I know that was a lot, but it takes a lot to prep this. Whatever day I'm spending time juicing, I can't do nothing else. I don't have time to do nothing else. So it's like I have to take a time out to juice everything. I have to take time out to, to kind of like, I guess, well, not really make my teas. Only when I'm making a fresh batch, you know what I'm saying? Because I have to have all 3 teas made at the same time. So I bought 3 electrical pots. As a matter of fact, Well, yeah, I bought 3 electrical pots because I have to soak all 3 different teas at the same time, so I can cook all 3 of these at the same time, so I can make all 3. And then once I make them, then I'll just, if I need to, I'm gonna just make 8, 6, like me putting these teas into a pot and then boiling it and then simmering it. I'm able to reuse these herbs. Last time I did it, I was able to reuse it twice, but I think because I actually overdid it the first time. Now I learned what it is. I think I can go ahead and pull 3 times out of it, but I'll find out. I'll let you guys know. But I can definitely reuse the same herb twice. What that means is, when I pour a 16 ounce of water and I cook it down to an 8, that's going to be a tea. You know what I'm saying? Which means I can do it again and reuse it again. But what I'm thinking about doing is adding a little bit more herbs in there, so I can go ahead and cook down like a 16 ounce, so that way I can just heat up 8 ounces of it and drink that, and then store the other 8 back into the refrigerator, so whenever that time come, pour that 8 back into the pot, just heat it up and then drink it again. You know what I'm saying? Just the time consuming. It's very time consuming, you know what I'm saying? But once I get started with a new batch of herbs, I'm gonna have to soak them all over again. So I don't want to have to soak one herb at a time. 20 minutes soaking you, and then cooking that for 25 minutes, and then while that's in the pot, I gotta soak another. So by the time this one get done, this will be done soaking. So 20, 40, 60, that's an hour right there. But plus the 25 minutes of making it. So it's like plus prepping it and storing it. This can be like a 2-hour process. So it's like sometimes I may have 2 hours of free time, sometimes I may not. Sometimes I gotta go straight to bed. I may get done driving where I'm only able to get a 5-hour rest, you know what I'm saying, because I had split my time. So it's really hard to be consistent with this stuff on this road, man. That's why I have to get out of here. But I'm gonna do the best that I can though, you know what I'm saying? So I might just go ahead and just make them to where I put a bunch of herbs, because I have a big pot too. I might just spend one day, man, just having a big pot, dumping a bunch of herbs in there for each of those, and then just cooking like a 32 ounce, and then just cooking it down, to like a 16 ounce, maybe even doing a 24 ounce, so I can already have at least 3 days of tea set up, so I don't got to keep doing this all the time. But I'm not going to do this all the time. I'm really only going to be like cooking these, like making these teas like this for like a week at the most, you know what I'm saying, a week at the most, you know what I'm saying, and then because I have to catch up. Once I catch up with these vitamins and minerals, then I can start maintaining. If I'm already deficient, I don't want to be taking a small amount every day and think I'm gonna slowly build up to it, because my body is still using what I do have that's left over already. So I'm deficient already. So I need to go ahead and take in a bunch of it, let my body regenerate with these vitamins and minerals. Then once I'm caught up, then I can start doing like tea bags, going back to my tea bags, you know what I'm saying? Or if I don't do tea bags, I'll still be able to put a little bit more herbs into my jars. So when I got my kettle in my hot water, I'll just pour it into my 8 ounce jars, let it sit for about 2-3 hours, and then just strain out the herbs and then go ahead and drink it, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna only be doing this pot process for like a week at the most. I don't really know how long I'm going to do it for. I want to say 9 days. Something is telling me 9 days. So I might just go ahead and just do 9 days. If I make any other changes in the meantime, if it slow down, because I feel like my body is starting to catch up, and now it's going to be harder for me to drink all this stuff every day. If I slow down, then I'll let you guys know that, and I'll start preserving. But right now, I need to catch up. So that's it, man. If you watched the whole video and you like this whole video, man, hit the like button if you want to see my next episodes and my other, because now I'm finna, release this. I'll finally be caught up with my channel. Now I'm finna start getting into the other things. Only thing I have to do now is write up my my personal exercise program based on my own current situation with my back and my knee and my neck. So once I do some research and I figure out what exercises I'm going to be able to do, then you'll start seeing me making uploads in different departments onto this channel. But as far as this food is medicine, this is going to be done for now, because now I have to spend time studying my third episode, which is going to go into the vitamin D, which is going to deal with my liver, and I believe the kidney too, but I know for a fact the liver for sure. And that's going to also go into the integumentary system because of my skin, obviously. And you know, it's just going to be a lot of research. So I don't know how long it's going to take. I may not learn everything before I do my PowerPoint, but I want to learn enough to where I can show that I got the understanding of where I need to start at. That may take 4 weeks, 5 weeks, maybe even 6 weeks. But what I will do my best to do is every 30 days go do more blood work to show a before and after of me taking these herbs and these fruits and vegetables to see my blood work, to see if what I'm doing is even working. So every 30 days I'm going to do that. So I need to go again so I can get a more recent update, and that's going to be my new starting point. And then once I start from there, every 30 days I'm guaranteed to show a new update. I'm going to start updating a day 1, day 3, day 7 update. And after day 7, it's just going to be a week 2, week 3, week 4. Just every week is going to be weekly updates after that. You know, as far as how I feel, taking my herbs, taking my, you know, juices, eating my fruits, or some days where I'm not able to do any of that and I'm just fasting. You know what I'm saying? So those are going to be those. So I'm going to be doing a lot of uploads. So I'm going to be doing those uploads. I'm going to be going live on my Facebook or my Instagram, sometimes zigzagging between both, going live, doing my exercises, breaking down what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, ending it with, you know, certain breathing techniques and why I'm doing those. And then I'm still going to have another section called Food for Thought, where I'm going to be expressing, getting things off my chest, because, you know, healing is not just dealing with the food. It's going to be mental healing, spiritual healing. So anything that's bothering me or that's on my mind, if I feel like I want to talk about it, I'm going to put my camera on and I'm going to, you know, record it. I don't know if I'm going to go live or not, but, you know what I'm saying, regardless of that, that's going to be in the Food for Thought category. That's going to be a whole nother section as well. And of course, I mean, that's pretty much it. So all we really going to be getting on this channel is these Food for Thoughts sections for my PowerPoints, my food is medicine PowerPoints, my Food for Thought, you know, venting, just getting things off my chest, to speak in my mind about whatever it is that I just experienced or what I'm going through now. You know what I'm saying? Because that way I would be able to see my transition as a person. I curse, I do, and I don't want to curse no more, but sometimes certain situations require me to put a little oomph on it. And ain't nothing wrong with that, but I know that I still have some healing to do in that aspect, because, you know, I can see that I've already grown to the, you know, from the person that I used to be. And that's because when you start fasting and you start sticking to fruits, man, from my experience, I had a moment, man, where I just started having peace with myself and my relationship that I had with other people that I had really bad grudges with. I just didn't care no more. Like, but it was like a peaceful happiness thing. Like, I'm okay with it. You know, people say I'm walking, you know, folks will say that you're walking away from something to try to make it seem like you're running, but ain't nothing wrong with walking away from something. It's not giving up. It's accepting what it is, and then just handling, you know, these things accordingly. And when you handle it accordingly, that could be in a result to you staying away from it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but that just comes with self-awareness. I wasn't able to talk like this 3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So, stay tuned, man. It's going to be a lot. I'm excited about it. I don't know what's going to happen. You know, I may have some moments where I cry. I may have some moments where I may say the wrong thing, and, you know what I'm saying, but I'm not, you know, but just let me get out of my system. That's all I ask. Let me get out of my system. I'm going to look back on my recordings. I'm going to be laughing at myself like, man, I can't believe I really thought that shit made sense. I really thought the best way to handle these situations was acting like that. I really thought that was important to even acknowledge in the first place. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to see the transition together. So, you know, I'm very excited about this. I'm dedicated. Y'all see where I'm at. I probably got like 20-something books in this truck. You know what I'm saying? And I got like another 30, 40-something books in my storage, and another 40-something books that I'm trying to buy that's like over $7,000. So it ain't going to stop. The printer is up and running at the house. You know, so all these PDF scientific experiments that I'm downloading, I'm sending them off, and I'm gonna get those printed out so I don't keep them on my phone. Cause when the power go out, I don't I don't want to have no. I want everything. That's why I buy physical copies too. I can buy ebooks, but why? I want the physical copies. You know what I'm saying? I got crazy books, like even dealing with the digestive system here. You know what I'm saying? Like this is dealing with stem cells. You know what I'm saying? Repairing the body. Like I have these things. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm getting there. Just, you know, I'm still a rookie. I really don't remember what I read up in here, but I gotta get back into it. I have so much, you know what I'm saying? You know, shout out one time for the, you know, to the legend, you know what I'm saying? Dr. Africa, you know what I'm saying? This book is very helpful. This is what really gave me the foundation on my research. You know, going over the vitamins and minerals that certain plants are like, that these plants have. Like it goes over a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, vitamin E, actually, it's talking about it right here. And it got a list of vitamins and minerals, you know what I'm saying, foods and all that stuff, deficiencies, and that helps me actually research to actually see what's really going on. So Dr. Africa, thank you. You know, I actually bought kind of like another version of it, but yeah, like I got plenty of books, man. You know, I got plenty of books. I already showed y'all the hormone book. I already showed y'all my kidney book. I got my herb books in here. I got my gardening books in here and all that, because I have to learn how to garden. By the way, I'm trying to work on starting a community garden. I'm in Dallas, but it doesn't have to be in Dallas. I just need it to be in Texas. You know what I'm saying? As long as the land is right. I don't really have the time to research all that. So if anybody is interested in doing that, I would really like for, you know, a team to work with. I'm totally backed up on everything already. I don't really have time to do anything else unless I stop doing what I'm doing to participate in something else. And I'm really tired of constantly keep putting this down when this is the most important thing to me. But there are some things that I do outside of this as a hobby, because I still want to be able to have fun, even though this is fun. Don't get it wrong. This is fun. I don't have nobody in my phone that I can really just conversate and just talk to about this stuff. Like nobody's, like I may have one person or two that may be familiar with some things, but they're not into this like I am. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I be holding all this information to myself. I don't have nobody to talk to. I'm like a, you know, a loner in this situation. And you know, it's not really as depressing as it sounds. It's just, you know, this is all I do. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, sometimes I do want to take a step back and then go participate in other things, only because I just need to just refresh my energy, just reset. You know what I'm saying? So I have one thing that I like to do to help me reset, but outside of that, man, it's like this is all I do. I'm supposed to be asleep and I'm laying down, you know, changing the brightness on my phone, trying to read some more stuff, download some more stuff and all that, which I need a printer in here actually so I can stop holding that light to my face. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I can ramble about this forever, but this is what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So when it's upload, I can't wait to show y'all the other sections. My next upload actually will be my exercise, because I'm going to have to draw up a custom exercise program for me. You know what I'm saying? So once I come up with that custom exercise based on my spine and my leg, you know what I'm saying, my chest, you know, then I will be able to, once I draw it out, I'm going to perform that. And as soon as every time I exercise, I'm going to go live. So my next video will be that. That video I will upload on here. But once I upload that on here, I will tell you to, you know, subscribe to my Facebook or my Instagram, you know, even my TikTok. As a matter of fact, that's what I need to put this information on there as well. You know what I'm saying? But you guys will get that. So that would be the next upload. After I upload my first exercise, where I'm breaking down my my exercise program, every video after that will be either my food for thought, my day 1, day 3, day 7, you know, week 2, week 3 updates. You know what I'm saying? And you'll get way more of that. It's going to take some weeks, maybe a month at minimum, before I do another one of these videos. So outside of those two, only thing to really look forward to is another 30-day update, which I'm going to do some blood work to show the new updated version of my blood work with the homocysteine. So that's it. Ah, man, we here. I'm excited. You know what I'm saying? I hope I inspire somebody to do the same, man. Go get your blood work done. You'll find out. I thought I was fine. Didn't know I was facing Alzheimer's and dementia, liver disease, kidney disease, or liver and kidney failure, heart disease, and, you know, possibly being handicapped. I didn't know I was facing all that. So just try it and see what's going on. All right, y'all, I gotta go. Thank you for watching this channel. I'm getting shiny. I'm starting to sweat a little bit. Finna turn this air back on. Love y'all.